The South African Revenue Service has defended itself against complaints that it overtaxes a government employment pensions fund beneficiaries. About 40,000 GEPF beneficiaries' income are reported to have been reduced in October due to tax deductions as high as 60% in some cases. Now, for more on the story, I'm joined by Government Pensions Administration Agency's Acting Chief Financial Officer, Phumzile Mda. Phumzile, very good afternoon. Thanks for speaking to us. Just clarify where we are. Now, I understand that SARS, the deduction to the GPF, but you've said that the communication to you could have been clearer from SARS. What was that communication and what information was missing?
I think from our side, the first thing is that we had to obtain the lists of these people or members who are affected, so that we can communicate to them directly. These lists will have these fixed rates, these percentages, so that we tell a person on a one-by-one basis that the next month you will be subjected to a 30% tax rate. Once we have that information, then we started to engage our members and sensitize them that this is coming, to prepare them, this is coming. And immediately in August, we put our systems in place as well, because these things need to be programmed. And immediately in September, we implemented these tax rates. And I suspect that the members, the ones who are receiving our communication through letters, probably receive this information very, very late. But the ones who are receiving our communication via emails and SMSs, those ones should have had this information or this communication as early as possible. But
allow me, Phumzile, to come in there. Are you assuming, have you had clarity, have you checked with the various stakeholders to establish this, or is it there a little bit of uncertainty at this point?
At this point in time, we don't have statistics in terms of which members didn't receive or have not received these letters. We don't have that statistics at this point in time. But based on the communication we normally have with our members, we know that the ones which we send letters through post, they normally receive this communication very, very late in comparison to the ones which we send this communication through emails as well as texts. SMSs.
Now, some of the tax charges are reported to be as high as 60%. Is this correct? And what was it before it was 60%?
I don't think it has gone to 60%. I don't think it has gone to that. The highest I have with me is around about 45. 45, the highest I have is around about 45. If I have to give you the statistics, the GEPF members who are affected by this tax change are around about 44,000, and 2,900 were taxed between 44 and 45%. That's 2,900. So the rest are below that. I don't think we've gone up to 60, definitely. I haven't got that information with me in that regard.
So what was the justification to go up to 40 or 45%? Is this according to SARS? Have they moved to a new tax bracket?
It's according to SARS directives. Remember, SARS are saying that these members are the ones who are getting more than one source of income. So once you combine those two sources of income, all of a sudden your tax bracket picks up. So SARS is working on that data. They've given us these tax rates, and we just apply them from the GEPF point of view. The data is with SARS, if I may say so.
So when you got this information, when did you get this information from SARS, and when did you then communicate with the pensioners?
We received two sets of information from SARS. We received the first set in March. First set in March. And we engaged SARS on that set of information. And in July, they provided us a final set of information, which we worked on. So in August, we worked on the July set of data, which was obtained from SARS. On the 1st, 2nd of September, we send letters to all our members through emails, through texts, SMSs, as well as post. And this deduction was applicable by end of September. So they had probably something like a month or close to a month to respond to us if there was any rejection on these matters. But unfortunately, the response we got was when when they realized that the net income they usually get from us is less than what they normally get before.
Does this then maybe suggest that your line of communication does not work or is not sufficiently effective, or that the message that you sent out to them was not understood? Because I'd imagine that if at the receipt of the information they realized that a further 20 or 30% was going to be knocked off their pensions, then they immediately would have engaged you. But if they're only engaging you at this point, either suggests they didn't receive the information or they did not understand the information.
Remember, when SARS took this decision to amend this specific law, they, SARS themselves, communicated with these members at that time. There was sometime in last year, November, they communicated with all of these members who were affected. So this was the second communication they were receiving from us. Then, if somebody says that they probably didn't understand that, or I wouldn't really. But it was the second communication received by these members from us. The first one was from SARS, the second one from us. That's why now we realize that when they complain, so it means we must go back and do much more campaigns in explaining these things to them. And specifically, this option given to us by SARS to say that you can opt out of these fixed rates and go back to your normal tax rate. So at this point in time,
please explain to us the difference between the two rates and the option that the pensioners have.
Okay, SARS has given us fixed rates, saying that tax Mr. So-and-so 35%.
Correct.
Imagine Mr. So-and-so was being taxed 25% before. SARS says, no, tax this gentleman 35%. And the reason is that SARS is saying this gentleman, according to the data we have as SARS, has two sources of income. So it means he receives income from two different sources, from pensions and other different sources. And the other one, the other normal one is that as Japan, we tax you based on the income we gave you. So the pension we gave you, we tax you based on that. That's the second one. Now, and this gives us two options.
Okay.
To say to our members, choose. Do you want us to tax you based on fixed rates provided by SARS? Or do you want us to tax you on the normal rate which you have been taxed for the number of years? And SARS said to us, if they decide to choose the normal rate, they decide to choose out of the fixed rates, made them aware that the reason why we did this was to avoid a tax liability which will come at the year end when tax season comes in. So when tax season comes in, SARS combine this income and tax you at that stage. And all of a sudden, what you have been paying as tax is less than what SARS would have calculated at year end. You all of a sudden owe some money to SARS. In trying to avoid that, these fixed rates are trying to avoid that tax liability at that stage. So we've given our members those options and we've explained to them that if by any chance you choose to go to your normal tax rate and avoid the fixed rates provided to us by SARS, be aware that when there's there's a possibility of a tax liability. And at that stage, SARS will need their money.
Okay, Phumzile, final question. Now, if some deductions have been made incorrectly, will these be reversed, or how will restitution be made to those that have been affected? Yes,
we've said to our members, if by any chance you opt out of these fixed rates, we will reverse the tax we charged you on a fixed rate in September and charge you a tax as if it's an August or July tax. The difference between that, this overcharge because of this fixed rate will be paid to you in November and December month. So it will be paid not in cash, but obviously in reducing the tax you'll be paying in November and December, those months going forward. Our members have been informed of that, and we commit to do that. And SARS has advised us to follow that route as well. And we're satisfied to do that.
Phumzile, I appreciate your time this afternoon. Phumzile Mdazi, acting CFO of the Government Employment Pensions Fund. And in conversation with us, speaking about the 40,000 beneficiaries who've been impacted by a new tax bracket.